Open your books to page 296. At the bottom, you're going to see the check your understanding box. I want you to work on questions 9 through 14, and you might want to use a scrap piece of paper, piece of notebook paper, the My Notes section of your book, or maybe your warm-up paper, wherever you have room, but you're going to need space to work. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try questions 9 through 14. Take out your graphic organizer that has all of the exponent rules. If you get stuck, ask a neighbor. You can work through these questions together. So pause the video. I want you to go through questions 9 through 14, and I don't want you to hit play until you've attempted and gotten an answer for all of these questions. You can do it. Number 9, we are distributing this squared, this little 2 exponent, to the 4, the x cubed, and y to the negative 1. There are 3 different bases here inside our parentheses. So when I write it out, it's 4 squared, x, 3 times 2 is 6, y, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Now, we can't leave our answer like this because we're not allowed to have negative exponents. So we have to clean it up. Take this negative, it needs to move to the basement, and it needs to become happy, turn positive. So 4 squared, x to the 6th power, make it a fraction, divided by, and in the denominator, we have y squared, positive 2. Now, this answer is acceptable, or you could write out 4 squared as 4 times 4, which is 16x squared over, or x to the 6th power, sorry, over y squared. So either answer is totally acceptable. Now, if you haven't done question 10, please pause the video and I want you to try this before I go through the answer. It's going to help prepare you for your test if you've attempted it before you've seen me work it out. The more you practice these, the better you're going to get. Just like any sport or instrument, etc. So for this fraction, we're taking this cubed exponent and we're distributing it to each base in the numerator. So 3 goes to the 5 and to the x, and it also goes to the denominator, which is y squared. So it's 5 cubed x cubed divided by y. 2 times 3 is 6. And again, you can leave your answer like this, or take your calculator and type in 5 cubed. 5 cubed is 125 over y to the 6th power. Either answer is acceptable. For question 11, you can totally do this problem. So please pause and try this. Break it down step by step, piece by piece. The first part is I would take this, and anything to the 0 power is 1, so I'm going to totally ignore that. Now keep going. Three is distributed to the 2, a squared, b to the negative 2, and the c. 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And then this is being multiplied by 3a, b to the 4th power, c to the 5th power. So because this is a multiplication problem, we are going to keep the base and add the exponents. So keep your a. 6 plus 1 is 7. B, negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. C, 3 plus 5 is 8. And then, what am I missing? I crossed out everything I've done or used. Don't forget about 3. Now, can I leave my answer like this? No, so we need to take this, b to the negative 2nd power, can't have negative exponents, and it's unhappy, so it needs to move to the basement or to the denominator, and it needs to turn positive. So in my numerator, I'm going to keep a to the 7th power, c to the 8th power, and in the denominator is b with a positive 2. Now, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this 3 times negative 2 cubed. Right? These are two different numbers, and this is a multiplication problem, so I want you to multiply them. So on your calculator, type in negative 2 cubed times 3. Negative 2 cubed is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. And I know that that's negative 8. And I'm multiplying that by 3. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. And I'm going to put that out in front of my a to the 7th power, c to the 8th power. So negative 24. And it's okay that this number is negative because it has a positive exponent of a 1. Okay, so a negative number is okay, but a negative exponent is not. So your answer is negative 24, a to the 7th power, c to the 8th power, over b squared. Now, if you happen to leave your answer with negative 2 cubed in front with a to the 7th, c to the 8th, and multiplied by 3 at the end, I would totally accept that as long as you had the b squared in the denominator. Okay? All right, question 12. This question is one of the hardest exponent questions that the book has ever given. It's harder than your homework today. It's harder than any test question I give you. And the first time I recorded this video, I spent about 7 minutes explaining this one question, and I've actually always skipped this question in the past. So I re-recorded this, and I'm going to let you skip this question. But for those of you that are curious, here's the answer. 1 over 3 g h squared. And some of you might have put a 1 here. And why is it 1 over 3? because in the numerator you had -4 squared, and in the denominator you had 4 squared. And these two things are 16 over 16, and they cancel. So that's why we're just left with 1/3 g to the first power h squared. Your f's should have also canceled out. That's why I don't have an f in my answer. So this question is a beast. It's extremely hard. I've always skipped question 12 in the past. So let's move on to question 13. We are distributing this -3 to the 2a, b, and also to the denominator. So 2 -3rd power a -3rd power b to the -3rd power over 2 times -3. And then we have a negative times a negative, so this turns into a +6. Now, here's what we're going to do. Before I clean up my negatives, I'm going to subtract. Okay, so what I mean by that is I'm going to look at these a's, and it's going to be -3 minus a -6. What do we get when we do that? -3 minus a -6. Two negatives make a positive. -3 plus 6 is 3. And now let's take a look at the b's. Okay, so we have b -3 minus 6, which is -9. And I can't leave my answer like this. We have to clean it up, remember. So this needs to move, and this needs to move to your denominator. So a cubed can stay where it's at, because it's positive, it's happy. But 2 cubed b to the 9th. And that's your final answer. Again, I'm okay if you leave it like that, or 2 cubed is 8. Either answer is acceptable. And the easiest question of the day is number 14. This whole entire thing is being raised to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So we didn't have to worry about distributing the -3 through, because this 0 trumps that -3. So the answer to 14 is just 1. All right, now if you are face-to-face, you can get the worksheet, the 19.3 practice. If you are virtual, you can get on Schoology and find the 19.3 practice and submit it on Schoology. If you're face-to-face, when you're finished, you can put it into the turn-in bin. If you need anything, please send me a message or an email.